I didn't realize how much of a drop-off this is right here, but welcome to Paris. Yes, we are in Paris, and today we're discussing a topic that I have no idea how I haven't done a YAP session on, but it's the death of PvP, why not that many players play PvP, and when I say that, think about the amount. I guess it's becoming really apparent with me going to GoFest as well very recently, but like the amount of people who play Pokemon Go, I would say maybe 5 to 10% of those are actual consistent PvP players. And that's not a good thing. PvP has been a constant, important part of Pokemon as a general whole. Like the Pokemon main series games, like VGC is one of the main reasons why people play the main series games. Obviously the main series games are a lot of fun. I'm being very sketchy here, I don't want to fall. But the fact that you can battle your Pokemon is one of the best parts. So today we're talking about that. We're talking about why not a lot of people play PvP, what sucks about PvP, what's actually good about PvP, because there is some good parts of Pokemon Go PvP, how they could improve PvP, and how they could fully overhaul PvP. Because I've had a lot of people come into my comment sections and comment sections in person. And when I say this in person, like last week I was in New Jersey for GoFest, the week before Osaka. Technically not a lot of people talk to me in Osaka, but in New Jersey specifically, people were like, dude, like, you should make a YAP session on how they could overhaul the PvP system. Somebody also said overhaul the raid system. That could be a whole other topic. I don't know if the raid system needs as much of an overhaul, but a lot of people are coming in there. Also, everybody I meet is like always hunting for shinies, raiding, all that stuff, but they're never talking about PvP. So overall, PvP is becoming a little bit of a dead part of Pokemon Go. There is a bird in the Sen right now, and that thing is not going to survive for long. But yeah, so yeah, we're here. We're here in Paris for the final GoFest of the season, I guess not including Global. Here by the Seine, I thought this would be a great spot to start the YAP session. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this topic. I'm also excited to be here in France for the YAP session and for the GoFest. I actually, at the time you're watching this video, it would be a Friday because YAP sessions drop every Friday, if you didn't know. GoFest will have started in Paris, so hopefully it's going well. We will be officially on day, technically 2, because we have the citywide gameplay. But yeah, honestly, if you're gonna ask me how I'm feeling, I'm feeling pretty tired. Let me just zoom this out a bit. I'm recording, right? Yes, we are. Feeling tired, feeling jet lagged, because we did land yesterday. No, this morning actually, 6 a.m. The time is currently 12. I've been struggling with jet lag, although I don't think this jet lag will be as bad. Mainly because I find the best way for jet lag is take a nap right away. I took a quick 30-minute nap when I got here, and then try to stay in the light. This is why I'm actually recording this YAP session. People are like, Dax, like, oh my God, like, why are you recording a YAP session if you just landed? Getting out in the sunlight is really helping me stay awake. I also drank a coffee and I took a shower. So feeling like a new man, ready for this YAP. There is a boat right there. Anyway, let's go find a place that's a little bit quieter, even though that might be impossible in Paris. And let's get right into the topic because I'm excited to be here. I'm a little tired, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm excited. Paris, I love this place. Honestly, I just want to go eat some baguettes. It's kind of all I want to do right now, but let's talk about PvP instead. Okay, we found a spot to chill out in. Okay, welcome. So before, don't know why I did that. Before I talk about everything bad with PvP, we do have to give it some creds because I don't think PvP does everything wrong in Pokemon Go. Now, I guess before I even get into it, I actually do want to quickly ask the question. Comment below. I read pretty much all the comments on the YAP sessions, or I try my best to, but do you play PvP? Do you play PvP? My guess is if you're watching this video, you probably do, because that means you're interested and you wouldn't click on this video if you don't PvP. But if you don't PvP and you're just interested on the topic, let me know why you don't PvP, and let's get into maybe why you should. I don't know. Anyway, just random question. That is just randomly for my research. Okay, what does PvP get right? Number 1, it is the only skill-based thing in Pokemon Go. There's not a lot of skill in raids. I guess you could say in like dodging in raids and like short manning raids, that takes a little bit of skill. Same thing with Dynamax, short manning Dynamax. I guess Dynamax is pretty skill-based, but PvP is clearly the most skill-based thing in Pokemon Go. There's not much it's like our only competitive PvP format. So like that as a full stop whole makes it the most skill-based thing. And I'm always a huge fan, I guess like excellent throws you could also say, but like I'm just a fan of skill-based gameplay. I think like games that require skill, but like, you know, there needs to be a balance, but games that require skill are going to be more fun in the long term. And that's why I think you see a lot of like people who play PvP are long-time PvP players because they've been honing their skills and they've been enjoying it. And I guess it just goes back to the fact that like when you feel yourself getting better at something, you're going to do it for longer. It's like let's say you get into biking. Like if there was no skill in biking and no like strength that you need to acquire and like different little strategies you could use to bike faster or bike for longer, like it wouldn't be as fun for as long. That's why like, I don't know. What's the example of something that doesn't take skill? I don't know, raiding. Raiding, for example, unless the raid boss, if the raid boss never changed, raiding would get boring, you know, because it doesn't take a lot of skill, it's just tapping. Like, we raid for the new raid boss. We don't raid for the skill expression of it, I guess. In terms of skill, there's a couple things, because a lot of people come in and say, like, PvP is not skill at all. I do want to say that the interesting thing about PvP is, like, how intricate or how hidden the skill-based gameplay or the skill expression is that people don't talk about. So let me just quickly explain. If you don't know, you can count moves in Pokemon Go. I guess like on a complete side tangent, counting moves, is that really a skill? I guess it is a skill. It's more like being good at math, I guess. But counting moves, catching moves, how good you are at team building, predicting the opponent's team and the team composition they're going to go with, how good you are at managing your energy. There is a boat coming right by me right now. Probably takes a lot of skill to drive that, I'd say. Anyway, I think, is there literally one guy driving this boat? There's no way. That'd be crazy. Anyway, a lot of skill in PvP. Now, if you don't think there is skill in PvP, one thing I will explain right now, or not explain, but point out that the top PvP players have been pointing out for the fullest time, if there's no skill in PvP, why do the top players keep winning? Why do Itzaxon, Dunebug, all these big names, Homeslice, Henry continue to win? Because there is skill in PvP. So I do think that PvP does get the skill-based aspect of it right. And I do kind of like how PvP is like, I don't want to say secretive with it, but like at the surface, it looks like a very basic game. But if you dig deeper, there is a lot of little strategies you can follow. And I think that is honestly like almost, I don't want to say a perfect formula, but like a really, really good formula for a game like Go that picks everybody up or like has such a wide variable player base, because anybody can pick up PvP and generally get the idea, but then anybody can also learn the intricate details to become really, really good and understand the skill expression in the game, I guess. Also, PvP is free to play. Now, obviously I'm not including the Master League in this, but like to get 3 Mons for the Great League, it's not too hard. Now, we're not talking about to get 3 of the top meta, you know, you're looking at a Shadow XL Sableye. Not easy to get. Really requires grinding, but still available for free. You know, Sableye Spotlight Hour comes around, Shadow Sableye available from the Shadow Grunts, with a little bit of planning to get that Pokemon. But overall, to get like 3 Pokemon for the Great League, vast majority of players can do that. Like casual players can do that. Now, if we dive into the Ultra League, you can still get Ultra League Mons as a free-to-play player. The top ones become a little more out of reach because, you know, XL candies to get like a, I don't know, an XL Malamar. A little bit tougher to get unless you've played like Inkay Research Day or caught a lot of Inkays. Again, with proper planning, you can do it. Now, the Master League is the one that is not free-to-play at all. I'm going to say, like, honestly, to get most Pokemon for the Master League, you have to pay money. Like, even to get like a budget Master League team, it's not very easy in Pokemon Go. Yes, you can get like, I don't know, Mamoswine, Dragonite. Those Pokemon are pretty easy to get, but like, even with those 3 Pokemon, it's pretty tough to win in the higher leagues. And the Master League is I'm recording, right? I always got to double check this, but the Master League is generally like a more pay to win league. But overall, I will give it to them. The Great League, pretty free to play, pretty available. Also, great Stardust rewards from PvP. You know, if you want Stardust, PvP is arguably one of the best ways to get it because you really, other than like powering up Pokemon, there really isn't much of an investment to make for the return. You just have to win a lot of battles. Like, if you look at Stardust, getting Stardust from catching wild Pokemon, you have to spin stops to get Pokeballs to then catch Pokemon to get Stardust. But PvP, you just need to power up 3 Pokemon and then win a bunch. You can get huge Stardust, especially during Go Battle Days, things like that. So overall, PvP does do some things right. Now, you guys might not fully agree with all these, but I do think those are some things that, you know, I give credit where credit is due, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But obviously it doesn't do it all well. I'm getting so distracted right now. I don't know why. This is just such a peaceful place to be, but I say peaceful as there's like a highway on the other side, but like this water's so nice. Anyway, PvP doesn't do it all perfectly. So now I'm going to change location and we're going to talk about what could be improved in the current PvP format. And then we'll dive into how they could fully overhaul PvP to make it a completely different game. But should they even do that? Because honestly, I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about PvP. I'm passionate about it, but also haven't. But I don't know. It's I feel like PvP sometimes is like that weird. I feel like it's like that weird toxic relationship you have with Pokemon Go, where like it's fun. It can be fun, and it can be very fulfilling, but also it can be like the worst, most enraging thing ever. You know, if you understand, you understand. But like, yeah, it can be rough. Anyway, I'm gonna go find a new location. Let's keep talking about this. Bonjour. D'accord. Maintenant, on va parler de. Imagine I just fully switched this YAP session into French. Now, I'm going to be honest. I just did talk for about 5 minutes, and this wasn't recording because I didn't have the mic plugged in. But it's fine. Anyway, we've switched locations. We're now in a nice little beautiful park. There's a dog in the back. Seems to be a school at the back. Anyway, let's talk about why PvP is bad right now. Obviously, there's good things about PvP, but there's also bad things. And we have to talk about that before we can talk about how we could fix it. And obviously, the number one thing everybody always discusses, everyone always brings up, is lag in PvP. Lag, desync, I don't know, like one-turn bring-ins, you know, different things like that. Very specific, intricate details that just make the experience inconsistent. And it's all about consistency. If you want to have a good video game, the gameplay needs to be consistent, because it is so frustrating when you don't know what to expect from a video game and how it's going to perform. Now, personally, I haven't played PvP. I've dabbled this season. Last season I didn't play. The season before that I didn't play. I forget how many seasons ago it was I hit Legend and really tried. I think 3 seasons ago I did push to Veteran. No, Veteran? I think I hit Expert. But anyway, haven't really dabbled too much. However, this is Go Battle League. I do battles every once in a while for videos. I also did do a battle against the winner of the Pokédaxi PvP tournament. This was like 3 weeks ago-ish. And I had a Feraligatr, Hydro Cannon loaded, final move. He knocks out my second last Pokemon. We switch in. He had something that Feraligatr beats in CMP tie. He had a move loaded. I would have won the battle, but my charge move literally did not pop up. Like, I literally could not press the Hydro Cannon. And then after I messaged him, and he was like, dude, like, you should have just like won that battle. I was like, yeah, I know, but like I couldn't even press Hydro Cannon because the button didn't appear. Now, obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into lag being an issue. First of all, internet. Sometimes people complain about lag, but they're literally running like the slowest internet ever. That's always going to be an issue. It's an issue in every game. Look at like Fortnite, for example. You're still going to get lag. That kid is screeching. You're still going to get lag if you have bad internet, and you can't really blame the game for that. But there are other issues and ways I guess we could fix the lag issue in Pokemon Go. Starting off with, we did discuss this in if Pokemon Go 2 would be a thing, they should have regional servers. Regionals are like continental servers, like Fortnite. You know, you play on the American server or you play on the APAC server. And this just makes it so like when you're battling somebody, it's not sending a feed across the world. Like you're not battling a Japanese person. Now, like, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe Pokemon Go already has this set in stone in PvP, but like, if they don't, make sure they add servers so it's like, you know, if I'm in Canada battling, I'm battling people in that region. Americans is fine, Mexico too, probably, but like, don't be battling people across the world, because that's when it's gonna create lag, because you're sending your feed of what you're doing all the way to a server, and then they're also sending it, and how far that, like, there's gonna be desync, there's gonna be lagging issues if you're battling people across the world because of how far they are. And, you know, as fast as the internet and the inputs are, there is still a desync when they are sending them far. So if they were to build in, you know, localized servers, that could definitely really help. Accessibility issues is also a huge problem, mainly in the Master League, but we can also talk about XL candies. Like, if you look at a game like Fortnite, it is accessible to everybody. Sorry, I'm not gonna bother this guy. It is accessible to everybody because of the fact, I'm moving because I was on a little library box and the man was walking towards it. He looked like he wanted to use it, so I'm gonna be a respectful human and we're gonna move over here. But we're gonna keep talking. Anyway, oh my God, look at this. This looks cool. Let's go down here. As I was saying, accessibility issues is obviously a big one for the Master League. You know, legendary Pokemon being not as accessible does suck, but also XL Pokemon for the Great League. And, you know, again, I don't know why I keep comparing to a game like Fortnite, but Fortnite is a standard great game. And obviously Pokemon Go is a hard game to compare because it's a mobile game. It's like, it's a one of one. There's not a lot to compare to of what the gold standard is for a game like that. But Fortnite, you drop in everything, like it's an equal playing field from the start. Pokemon Go is not like that. It is Great League, Ultra League, Master League. It's not an equal playing field from the start because it's all dependent on what you have in your account, what moves you have. Like, you know, do you have double moves? Do you have enough Stardust and Candy for double moves? Like, there is a battle. There is a grind before the grind. Before you grind for Legend, you have to grind for the Pokemon you're going to hit Legend with. Now, there is some positive in that. It does make it more fulfilling. It does make it fun. You know, there's more of a challenge. There's more things to do. The more things there are to do in a video game, the better. But there's also a balance. You know, how much, like, are you going to push players away because they have to do this extra task before they do the PvP task they want to do? Or will there people be enticed, be like, oh, this is fun. You know, I can catch the Pokemon and then use the Pokemon in battle. Because at the end of the day, that is what Pokemon is all about. You know, in the main series games, it is the same thing where you have to catch the Pokemon, train them up, and then use them to battle. But, you know, maybe that is not the best thing, I guess, overall. Again, this is like like, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments, but like, I don't know if there's a right or wrong here because there's positives to it, there is negatives to it. Yeah, and overall, I guess those are like the main issues. I'd say accessibility, lag is the main issues, and I guess like simplicity of gameplay. A lot of people don't like the fact that PvP is such a simple thing, a simple game at its core, and it can get boring. But again, this goes back to, I think, people not really understanding the little strategies and the little things that can make you a better PvP player. Now, overall, I will say this, and we're going to get into this and how they could improve PvP in a moment. But like, I will say, if we're comparing Pokemon Go PvP to the main series PvP games, night and day, night and day. It is literally a child's simplistic game if we're looking at it in that sense. But also, there is a lot of intricate details that people don't know a lot about. Anyway, those are the main issues I'd say with PvP that I have right now, looking at the game, how it functions right now. Now, this is, I'm saying how it functions currently. This is not saying if we had an overhaul. But I do think there are improvements that we can make right now to make PvP better, and then I do think I have ideas on how they could overhaul PvP. My camera's about to overheat. Let me get to some shade. Okay, hopefully we don't have too much glare here, but let's talk about how they could fix PvP currently, what I think they could upgrade for PvP. Quickly, before we do get into it, though, I do want to say there's a really cool opportunity for the Pokédaxi group trip #2, which we're literally one or two people away from confirming. So if you've ever been interested in going to Japan, I'm hosting a group trip. It's going to be in November 9th to 17th, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, link below for the full details, the itinerary, what you get out of it. Everything included is activities, the hotel, everything is pre-planned. So it's pretty much 1 week in Japan pre-planned with 22 other Pokemon Go trainers plus me and Pokemama. It is an absolute blast. We already hosted one, so if you want to see that, it is the featured video on the channel called 7 Days of Shundo Hunting in Japan. So you can get an idea of what it's like, but it is literally an absolute blast. And if you've ever wanted to go to Japan, this is literally like the best way to go to Japan because you're not only going to be going with other Pokemon Go trainers, but it's also already set in stone, so you don't have to worry about organizing anything like that. We're also going to be going to some of my favorite cities, Osaka and Kyoto in Japan, and doing some of my favorite activities like checking out the Torii gates, which, if you don't know, are those super popular, but like the red gates that people companies will like submit the gates, and there's thousands of them. They're really cool, really cool experience. Anyway, if you're interested, link below. Let's talk about PvP now. So lag, obviously, if they fix the lag, that would be an amazing fix to PvP. Number 2, there needs to be better tutorials in Pokemon Go PvP. And this goes back to the issue we had before of like people don't really understand the intricate strategies you could learn in Pokemon Go PvP. The basics they understand. The basics are pretty simple. Tap, tap, tap. You can switch. You can throw your charge moves. But in terms of intricate strategies like counting moves, catching moves, I don't know, other intricate strategies, energy management, etc. that we mentioned at the start. People don't know how to do these. So if Niantic, Scopely, I gotta catch myself, were to implement tutorials into the game that you can go into and be like advanced tutorial, intermediate tutorial, beginner tutorial, with like video guides, maybe like by popular content creators that do PvP. This would be amazing because this would just allow better people to like learn what's the next step. Like if there was an in-game tutorial saying like, hey, learn these strategies and that will help you hit legend, I think that would allow a lot more people. Like imagine you're like battling your way through veteran and you're struggling and the game notices that you've lost 5 in a row and it's like, hey, here's a video for you on some strategies that might help you win more. Anyway, I think that would be amazing. Also, in terms of the issue with PvP Pokemon being harder to get, I think a rentable team, especially like for the Master League or like XL Pokemon, like if you could rent Pokemon, I know in the main series games you can do this, but like maybe like pay, I don't know, would it be Pokecoins? Would it be Stardust? Okay, hello. My camera overheated, literally in the middle of that YAP. Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't overheat again. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on it, but we're gonna continue. Okay, I have to repeat everything I was saying because the camera died and I had already spoken for 10 minutes after the camera died. Practice teams, that's what we're talking about. Practice teams would be amazing. Obviously, if you could just rent, I don't know, again, Pokecoin, Stardust, whatever, rent a practice team, that would be an amazing way to just fix the issue with like unaccessibility in Pokemon Go. Now, maybe again, going back to it, Pokemon Go likes the fact that you have to grind, you have to catch your Pokemon, then you have to train it, then you have to use it in battle. That's like the core of Pokemon, so maybe they want to keep it that way. But also, like, to a point, like, you also don't want to, again, it all goes back to a balance. Like, how much do you want to let people grind and push for something versus make it easy? If you make it too hard, people are going to be swayed against it, and you're not going to get a lot of players. Like, the hardest game in the world that is, like, so unrewarding, people are not going to play. But there needs to be a balance of, like, a hard grind and rewarding at the same time. So overall, I think renting a team in some sort of fashion would be great. You could combine this with my next idea, which would, I'm not going to say this is my idea. People have had this idea, but like a practice mode, a mode where you can go ahead and just practice. No rewards, no rank, nothing except battles. Nothing except queuing up for battles and battling people. Now, this would be an amazing mode not only to practice, test out new Pokemon. If you live in the middle of nowhere and have no friends to practice battle with, then this would also be amazing because then you can go ahead and just like get in some battles, especially before like a regional tournament or any tournament you might be entering. This is a great way for people to potentially like, just practice. Anyway, a practice mode is something that we've wanted for a long time. And like it could even be NPCs that are pretty good or AI that's pretty good. Obviously you can battle Spark, Blanche, and Candela now, but they have like a switch lag and they just don't have the best mons. But like, even if we had like AIs that were a little bit better, like I know on PV Poke, there's an AI where there's like an easy AI, a medium, a novice, an advanced, an expert AI. Like if Pokemon Go implemented like these different levels of it, like chess almost, like you could battle a chess AI at different ELO ranges. That would be an amazing little thing to just practice your teams and kind of see how it goes. And then finally, I guess I want to talk about a reward overhaul and reward scaling. I think that rewards are good and they do scale. Like as you get higher ranks, you get better Pokemon encounter rewards. However, I will say, as you get higher rank, the item rewards don't improve. The Stardust rewards don't improve. So it would be nice if Niantic were to implement some sort of like reward scaling where as you get to a higher rank, you get more Stardust. You get possibility for elite TMs to drop and different things like that. Because when you're battling at a high rank, there needs to be reason to continue to battle other than just elo and pride. You know what I mean? Like, people who are battling in Legend, they're battling the toughest trainers, the best trainers in the world, and they're still only getting like, I don't know, 2,000 Stardust to battle. Like, it should be like 10,000 Stardust to battle. You know what I mean? So if we got some sort of reward scaling, that would be amazing. Now, we have to talk about it. This is such a hard topic to get into. Look, everybody's always talked to me about it, and the whole reason this whole conversation was sparked up and this whole YAP session has been created was the idea of a PvP overhaul. And does Pokemon Go deserve a PvP overhaul? And again, it all goes back to this. Now, personally, I think Pokemon Go PvP is actually a good system for Pokemon Go. Let me explain. Pokemon Go is a game where, again, you have players who are 5 years old and you have players who are 80 years old. If we were to make, like, for example, imagine the main series Pokemon games. You have natures, you have abilities, you have types. You have to build a team of 6 Pokemon. You have 4 moves you can learn. You have team strategies you can learn. Like, by no means is the main series Pokemon games a simple thing, a simple battle mode. It's not a simple battle mode. Pokemon Go, on the other hand, is a very simple battle mode. If I give an 80-year-old Pokemon Go PvP, they might be able to understand it and get some grasp of it. If I give them the main series PvP, they're going to be confused, they're not going to know, and they're going to get completely destroyed. So you're looking at this balance in Pokemon Go when you have this huge variety of player base of different ages, and it's this game that appeals to almost everybody in the world, much more than the main series games. More people probably play Pokemon Go than the main series games. Maybe that's cap, but like, more people have played Pokemon Go. So when you have this huge variety, you have to appeal to a simplistic game that anybody can pick up. And that's why I don't think Pokemon Go needs a PvP overhaul, because I do think it is a good blend of being a basic game, a game that's easy to pick up and easy to battle in and easy to understand, but also there's still intricacy to it. There is still, like I mentioned before, there is skill base to it. You know, we talked about it before, counting moves, energy management, team building, etc., etc. Like, all this stuff can be improved, can be learned on, and it is, Pokemon Go at the surface level might seem simple, but there is still a lot to dive into and to learn. Breakpoints, another amazing thing. Like, if you don't know, depending on what stats you have, you could end up doing 1 extra fast move damage every single move against a different Pokemon, which could end up flipping a matchup that you wouldn't normally win. Like, it gets detailed. It gets detailed. And if you don't think it gets detailed, do your research, because Pokemon Go PvP is one of the most intricate, like, little things you can do to improve your gameplay. Now, if we're talking, is it as detailed as the main series games? By no means is it as intricate. You know, the amount of abilities, moves, all that stuff in the main series games does not compare. But what I will say, if Pokemon Go were to get an overhaul, let's talk about different ways it could go. Number 1, an overhaul in the fact that it stays the same but adds new features. Now, when I say this is something that I could actually see Pokemon Go implementing, and I would like to see implemented, but I could also see them not implementing it, is adding items, adding abilities. These are 2 things that I think are simplistic enough for Pokemon Go to implement without making it too complicated, but will also add a lot of fun to it. Now, let me explain here. Items, Pokemon. Let me see if I can get a full list. List of items in Pokemon. Does it explain what they do? Yeah, okay, it does explain what they do. Okay, let me explain. Let me give some examples. We're gonna look at scrolling down. The black belt item increases power of fighting type moves. Imagine in Pokemon Go, you could, you know, for example, when you catch a Pokemon, have the chance, I don't know, you catch a Meditite, it could drop a black belt. Then you could give this black belt to a metal type, which would make all your fighting type moves on metal type all your fighting type moves on the Meditite do 10% more damage. That's one example. Black Sludge, item that gradually restores the HP of poison-type Pokemon. It inflicts damage on all other types. Imagine an item like that. You give it to your Alolan Muck, and it heals a little bit of damage every time it uses a charge move. You know what I mean? Like, bottle caps, that's an item that's coming, but I don't know. Let's look at... Oh, you know what's a great one? Focus Sash. Focus Sash, don't have it here, but it's an item that if you were to be one-shot by a charge move, you would survive with 1 HP. This could be huge in Pokemon Go because if you get if you're gonna get one hit by a charge move, you survive by 1 HP, which means you can get your charge move off. You know what I mean? Like, there is a lot of items in the main series games that I think could transvert into Pokemon Go, making for fun, and not too complicated, but like, I don't know, just improve the game. Abilities is another thing. Pokemon Go get abilities in the main series games that give them special effects. It would be cool if we got abilities. For example, Blaze powers up fire-type moves in a pinch. I think that's like when you're low HP, your fire-type moves do more damage. Dazzling protects Pokemon from high-priority moves. Don't know if that could be implemented into Pokemon Go. And not all the abilities to come, but like Dragon's Maw powers up Dragon-types moves. I don't know, a lot of fire moves. Gluttony encourages the early use of a held berry. Imagine you have Gluttony and then like you're holding a berry, that means you use it earlier. You know what I mean? Like, again, a lot of cool ways they could implement abilities into Pokemon Go. And if I were to see an overhaul, I think that would be the best way to implement an overhaul. Now, the second things I see players always talking about is a turn-by-turn basis overhaul. A lot of people don't like how PvP is. They don't like how fast-paced it is. I think the fact that it's fast-paced makes it very entertaining to watch, and it also makes it really good for out-on-the-go battles. Like, you can do a quick battle on the bus anytime, get it done, versus like VGC where, you have to sit down for 30 minutes to get a battle done. But a lot of people have mentioned, like, why don't they implement turn-based? Like, you still have 3 Pokemon on your team, but it's turn-based, so it's like, no one's moving, you get to decide, okay, I'm going to use this move this turn. You then watch your Pokemon use that move, and then it's the opponent's turn, et cetera, it goes back and forth. I don't really know if this would implement well into PvP, into Pokemon Go at least, because I think Pokemon Go is it's a quick game. It's meant to be played out on the go. The battles are meant to be quick, and also I like the fact that it's different. Why would we just copy the way Pokemon... I guess it makes sense. Like, it's set in stone. It is a battle mode that has been proven. People like it. But also I like the fact that Pokemon Go is different because it is not the exact same as the main series games. It is very unique. If they were to implement a turn-based mode, though, let me say this. The reason I don't think they would implement a turn-based mode is because we kind of already have it in Dynamax battles. So I think if Pokemon Go were to implement or overhaul PvP to a turn-based mode, I think they should do it in a separate Dynamax PvP mode. A mode where you can battle other trainers using your Dynamax Pokemon in the turn-based mode. Maybe it's the same thing where like you build your max meter, so you're using fast moves to build your max meter and then you Dynamax and then it becomes turn-based. Don't know how they'll do it, but if they do ever overhaul PvP, personally, I would think that they should do a Dynamax mode. But honestly, again, this is my opinion. I do like the way PvP is. I don't think it's a perfect system, but I do think that there is some merit to it, and I do think it fits Pokemon Go, I guess, the way it is. But anyway, that's my ideas. That's why I think PvP is not very used that often, is because of the issues I mentioned. And I do think they can improve it by implementing the fixes I mentioned. But I want to pass it off to you guys. I'm sure some of you guys are screaming at the screen with your ideas and your different, I don't agree with this, Dax, at all. It's fine if you don't agree. This is why we have the comment section. Please drop in the comment section your thoughts on my YAP session. What do you think about all these suggestions I made? What would you change about PvP? And if you do have any actual suggestions, drop them below, because I do have contact with Scopely, so I always pass off good ideas and improvements. All the ideas that I mentioned in this video have been passed off to Scopely already to hopefully improve PvP. So drop them below. I'm going to put them, I do have like a mega doc. I call it my mega doc, but I have like every single idea to improve Pokemon Go in there. So if you drop ideas, I will put them in the mega doc. I will share them with Scopely. Anyway, watch the other 2 videos on screen if you enjoyed this one. We are going to go enjoy Paris Go Fest. We're enjoying Paris Go Fest right now. So stay tuned for plenty of fun videos from that event. And we'll catch you guys all next week on Friday with another YAP session. Love you all. Catch you all on the next one. Follow for this, everybody. Peace.